Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tea Time. Today, or yesterday, was amazing. It's actually the same day if you were in Europe. There were some problems with the Legacy of the Void thing coming out, but it came out. It did, and I played it till 4 in the morning, and I couldn't even sleep afterwards. I had to read Game of Thrones for the next hour or so. But in any case, I fell asleep, and I woke up, and now I'm here. Let's talk about patch notes. Let's start from the very beginning. Half of the patches have 750 minerals, and half of the patches have 1,500 minerals. That means an overall percentage of 75. That's right. We have 75% of the minerals per base that we used to. However, this is not true for gas, as gas has gone from 2,500 per geyser to 1,700. 1,850 would be much closer to the 75%, but apparently things have changed. That's right, all of your gases are going to mine out faster than they used to in comparison to your minerals. That means gas is even more valuable than it used to be. That's right, on the land of maps everywhere, gas will be scarce. So, value it highly, because it is valued highly more than it ever has even before. Amen. Starting worker count has been increased to 12. Everybody knows this. All races have had their supply structures increased. So that's 15, 6, and 14. It makes some cool shenanigans where you can really push off those initial supply structures early. You can really push out that second overlord really far out if you take your overlord on 13. It's pretty cool. Same thing with the other stuff. Not so much for the other races, but having 6 supply for hatcheries is really cool, and it makes for a lot of interesting type things. Scan range! That's right, I made a video on scan range, and together, you and I and the pressure upon the blizzard was felt. And they said, scan range, that's a pretty good idea. We're gonna do that. Basically, for those of you who haven't watched the video, it's here, but go watch it. It basically means that units will be more consistent now. Also, check out this video over here on this side. Over here on this side. That video is for damage point. That is the next increase in consistency and responsiveness for units that I think ought to be pushed into the game. So if you think that that is useful, go ahead and spam the crap out of someone about it. And the game speed has been altered to be real time. It's real. StarCraft is now real. It's actually really for real game now because of real time, and I am, as you can tell, quite excited about that. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. It's great. But that means all of the timings that I have been used to and all of the statistics involving time that I have been used to, I have to rememorize. Workers used to go at 1.8125 speed, and now they go at 2.01. Who knows what the rest of the decimals are, because I haven't looked them up yet. Speed. So not really a big deal as far as most people. Just people like me who've memorized all the stats have to rememorize all the stats that have to do with time specifically. So attack speed, movement speed. If it has the word speed in it, probably you have to recalculate your brain. And also timings. But let's talk about timings, right? If you have 12 workers at the beginning, all the timings are going to be different anyway, right? It's not like, oh, yes, my Marauder time usually hits at X time, but now it hits at Y time. Well, that would have happened either way, either because of the real time and adjusting because of that, or because of the whole, you got 12 workers, it's kind of weird. We could talk a little bit more about that, but this video might be forever long. Forever long! It's gonna be, no, but for real, it could be really long if we just, waffle around on this. Terran! The new Cyclone unit is a factory unit. It attacks air and ground, and it locks on, and it's really cool. The lock on is pretty sweet. A little bit of extra little JaKaTaK, extra stats going on here. When you back out, so the way that it works is it's a little bit complex. It might be a little bit confusing at first with the, oh man, but Cyclone range. It has 2 ranges. The Cyclone has 2 ranges. The first range is for the close, actually has 3 ranges. Whoa. The first range, the important range, is how close do you have to get before you lock on? Once you are locked on, You can stay locked on as long as you remain within 14 range of the enemy. So you lock on at 6 range, and then you can just pull back really fast and stay out of range of that Colossus, or whatever it might be. For those of you out on Legacy of the Void beta, if you're having trouble dealing with Cyclones, you have to make things that are faster than workers. A Cyclone is the same speed as a worker. You have to make things faster than Cyclones. But, you know, just as another point of reference, if it's not faster than a worker, it's not probably going to do very well at all against a Cyclone. Or many things, right? If you have a swath of Marines, the Cyclone's not going to do very well because it's really good at prioritizing bigger targets. But seriously, it does a lot of damage and it's very awesome. Oh, and then the third range is actually the range of the normal attack, which is 5. I think it's 5. All right. The Marauder has been increasing of the number of attacks to 2 and the damage is in half. So overall, ignoring armor, the DPS of the Marauder is exactly the same as it used to be. But for units with high armor, it now doesn't perform as well as it used to. This specifically, the main example that I want to bring out here is the Ultralisk, which we're going to get to later. It has a maximum of 8 armor now. That's kind of crazy. You're right. So Marauders don't do so well against Ultralisks anymore, and neither do Marines do anything at all. It's actually silly. Go open up a unit tester or something and look at it. It's really silly. I'll be making videos about it because it's just pure entertainment value watching an Ultralisk kill things with low damage and high attack rate. It's great. The Siege Tank can now be picked up. Nothing new. If you've been keeping up, that is nothing new, but it is really fun and cool. Small note here, Legacy of the Void custom alpha mod fan thing was having some deceleration issues. Those are not in the real game, so you can go ahead and pick up the Siege Tank while moving without losing speed, and you can drop it off and pick it up, and it's very, very fluid and nice. The Banshee has hyper flight rotors, increases Banshee's movement speed by 1. Again, I want everyone to note here, this is not real time. Wait, what? I thought you were going to say it was real time, Jack. Well, I was, but then they did this. All the stats on this particular page are Heart of the Swarm stats, very likely to make it more comfortable to all the people using Heart of the Swarm. But one movement speed would take the Banshee from 2.75 to 3.75 in Heart of the Swarm statistics. However, in Legacy of the Void, it's different. Just keep that in your brain hole. If you're used to the Heart of the Swarm already, it's 1 speed faster. Relative speeds are a little bit easier to use. So the Banshee base speed is the same. When it gets the upgrade, it goes as fast as an Oracle. Easy enough. The Battlecruiser's tactical jump actually made it into Legacy of the Void beta. It's it's silly. It's really silly. Oh man. If you can get up to Battlecruisers, they're insane. Just enjoy yourself while it's still around. That's it. The Battlecruiser is also invulnerable while it's warping, just in case it needed to be any more cool. The Raven's Point defense drone is now down to 20 seconds from 180 seconds. Very likely to avoid the whole, I'm going to sit in a corner with all of my buildings and put a bunch of point defense drones up and just make the game last. I'm looking at you, Avilo. I'm looking at you. And the durable materials doesn't make it OP either. This next one's actually a pretty big one. The missile turret only requires the barracks. So it's very similar to the change that was made in Heart of the Swarm where you only need a spawning pool to build a spore crawler. Now, all you need is a barracks to build your 2 main static defense structures, the missile turret and the bunker. However, the planetary fortress still requires an engineering bay. So all you guys out there building your static D, make sure you still get the engineering bay for the OPPFs. Thor, high impact payload has been removed. So they messed around with a couple of different things that they were going to do to the Thor, and apparently they all sucked. So the Thor has nothing. It's just big and kills things. Isn't that enough? Is that not enough for you? It's just gigantic and kills things. Just be happy about it. The Zerg have a new unit. It's called the Ravager. Destiny has discovered the Ravager. If you want to go check out his stream, he uses it quite a lot and to great effect. It morphs off the Roach. It's got corrosive bile. It's got more DPS than a Roach. It costs a total of 100 gas, 100 minerals, and 3 supply. And it is great. The one build that I'm working on more than any other build in the world is the Ravager Rush, and it is incredibly, incredibly fun. Not so good in ZVZ because Speedlings are quite good against the Ravager. However, in the other matchups, it performs quite well. The range of the Corrosive Bile is somewhere between 9 and 10. I don't know the exact details because I can't open the editor. I can't open the campaign editor, the StarCraft editor that has all the numbers in it. So I just sort of tested it out, and it's about 9 to 10 range. So the siege tank still outranges it, but keep in mind, siege tanks are stationary units. So the Ravagers can just come in, drop their corrosive biles, and then pull back and only take 1 tank shot. They have less hit points, however, than the Roach, so they're less, hardy. They're just sort of like a Roach that got stretched out and therefore became more vulnerable. Not really sure exactly how that works, but in any case, let's move on. The Lurker has returned! You should know this already. If you don't know this already, you know this now because I just told you. The Lurker's back. And I couldn't be any more happy about the Lurker coming back. It does a lot of damage. It does splash damage in a line. It can only shoot while underground, and it moves around. For those of you not familiar with the Brood War Lurker, it is exactly the same. An extra cool thing about the Lurker is that it has the Hold Fire command, similar to the Ghost's Hold Fire command. In the Brood War days, what you'd have to do is you would have to grab an Overlord as part of the whole Lurker section, hold stop, and then the bio would come along, and then you go and kill everything. But now you just press a button that says, hold, and then you say, oh, there's some bio, kill, and then it becomes a kill button, and then you kill them, and it's great. They're also really good at killing death balls. So those of you with Protoss death balls, if you don't have an observer, you're going to get ripped into shreds. Just saying. The Roach's tunneling claws have been removed. Aw, it can't burrow underground and move and do all this cool stuff? No, that is not what it is at all. Instead, it does it automatically. All you need is a 100 gas, 100 mineral upgrade, and some roaches, and you can do burrow move stuff. It's great. Oh my god, is it great. And then once you're done doing that, you can morph them into Ravagers, and you have this awesome, awesome, awesomeness. Prepare for more Roaches and Ravagers being built. For Terran, it's always been the letter M. It's always been the letter M, Marines, Marauders, Medevacs, Mines, and now for Zerg, we have a new theory coming up. The theory of our Roaches and Ravagers and Hydralisks. Everything beginning with the letter R is very, very great if you're a Zerg. The Hydralisk morphs into the Lurkers. That's a new thing for the Hydralisk, but we just talked about the Lurker, didn't we? Yes, we did. We did. Also, the Groove Spines and Muscular Augments have been combined into a single upgrade. That's right. Hydralisk Speed and Hydralisk Range are now just one upgrade. Very nice. It's pretty much no-brainer. Are you building Hydralisks? Yes. Get that upgrade. Okay. You just get it. It's like getting Warp Gates. You just get the Just get it. Just get the upgrade. It's good. The Corruptor pees on things. That's right. It's called Caustic Spray, but it's really green pea. The green pea of the Corruptor deals lots and lots of damage. First only 5 DPS and then jumps up to 25 DPS. They kill buildings ridiculously fast, so enjoy that. But keep in mind that this only deals damage to structures, including the Creep Tumor, because the Creep Tumor is a structure, but aside from that, you can't do it on Thors or anything like that. Oh, and the Corruption ability is gone. The Swarm Host is a completely new unit. You don't even have to call it the Swarm Host anymore. You can call it that new Heart of the Swarm unit that Zerg got, because Zerg got 3 new units. Imba. The Swarm Host has had its cost modified to be 200 gas and 100 minerals instead of 200 minerals and 100 gas. And you might be saying, but Jack, isn't it exactly the same amount of minerals? Isn't it like basically the same because 300 and 300 are basically the same number? No, you're wrong. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong and be a noob, but in this case, you are wrong. Gas is incredibly valuable. It's even more valuable in Legacy of the Void than it was in Heart of the Swarm. It's huge. So, this puts a huge taxation on your economy, building any Swarm Host at all. They now also cost 4 supply instead of 3. In addition, they are faster. In addition, they now require the burrow research to burrow. In addition, the whole spawn locust thing is completely different. There's no rally point. You just say, oh, I want to spawn locust. Where do you want to go? Here, click, poof, done. It's great. They go, and then it's fine. You're in. It's so easy and great and fantastic. Play with some swarm hosts. In addition, the locust has been changed, which is basically like changes to the swarm host. It's crazy. So they shoot faster, and their duration has been increased to 30 seconds. This is something that's sort of, oh, wait, they got rid of enduring locusts. So that means they don't last long, correct? Wrong. So it used to be, with enduring locusts, you would have a 25 seconds, heart of the swarm time, 25 seconds of locusts doing their thing. Now, it's 30 seconds by default. So it's basically like you come out of the egg as a swarm host with more duration of locusts than before when you had to have an upgrade. It's great. The drawback to this is that it's a 60-second cooldown. Huge, gigantic. So what this has basically done from the swarm host is taken it from this endless wave of things that do damage very well and all that to this burst of things that deal tons of damage, and then they're completely useless for 30 seconds. That's a long time in StarCraft. I mean, it's just a long time. Next up is perhaps my favorite change of the entire thing. Adrenal glands has gone from an 18.6% increase in attack speed to 40%. That's right. Cracklings are back, and they deal stupid amounts of damage. Life is going to be really happy late game. It's going to be great. Like, it's already great, but I mean, like, think about this. If this change stays, late game Zerg is just going to be so good. Counterattacks with Zerglings become incredibly powerful, like ridiculously powerful. It's so good. The infestation pit has been changed as a result of all these swarm host shenanigans. There is no more enduring locust upgrade, which we talked about before, but now there is a flying locusts upgrade for 200, 200, and 160 seconds. Again, this is in heart of the swarm time. Now, a common misconception about the flying locusts: they do not attack air like they do in the campaign. They do not. They will not even attack while they're in the air. The air mode, the flying mode, is only for transportation. It flies them over to a certain place, and then they go land. They rain down vengeance upon this nexus, or whatever it might be that you're raining your vengeance down upon. You know. This is another one of my favorites. Have you noticed that my favorites tend to be Zerg favorites? I'm not trying to be biased here, but man, this is some cool stuff. Nidus worms are now invulnerable while constructing. Now, invulnerable in StarCraft is very interesting. It comes with a very interesting set of things. It can't be targeted either. So it's not like you can say, oh, well, attack this, and as soon as it comes out, it'll be attacked. You can't even target it. You can't even touch it until it comes out. And the auto attack, sure, that's fine. You surround it with units. The main change that happens here is that the workers can't just surround the Nidus and kill it before it's done. That's like the huge thing. If you've got an army and it's surrounding a Nidus, I tested it, it doesn't actually work out. Nothing comes out of, there's this period of time where nothing comes out of the Nidus worm right when it's almost during the scream of the Nidus. That's when it's vulnerable and it takes damage and it gets killed. If you just sit your army on top of it, you're going to be fine. Or even just like a small, squad of forces, you're going to be fine. Don't freak out too much. But for Zerg players, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. The Viper now has Parasitic Bomb. It's kind of ridiculous. It's basically Irradiate Plus. Okay, that's the best way to explain it. It's Irradiate Plus. It deals damage over time to a unit and the units that are around it. It's a cloud of things, parasites, and they do the stuff. So what happens though, the plus comes in when it dies. So say you cast this on a unit, that unit dies, that cloud sticks around for a while and damages all the things around it. Now when I say all the things, I don't mean all the things. When I say all the things, I mean all the flying things. That's right. It only does damage to flying things. Keep that in mind. But it's great. Oh man, it kills phoenixes. It's beautiful. Finally, we have the Ultralisk, whose chitinous plating upgrade has been upgraded to 4. So the max armor of an Ultralisk used to be 6. It used to be 3 upgrades, 1 starting armor, and then 2 more. 6. But now we have an additional 2 armor, which makes it 8 now. The cool thing about 8 armor is that it's 8 armor. Oh my god. It really, like, there is a point in time where that armor gets too much and things just do nothing to it. It takes 700 or so Zerglings that are not upgraded at all to kill a fully upgraded Ultralisk. That's real. That's real. There's a video here. Go watch it. Hey, don't freak out now. Calm down. It's not the end of the world. Marauders, they don't do good against Ultralisk anymore. Marines, they don't do good against Ultralisk anymore. Cyclones, they do really well against the Ultralisk. And other such things. High damage is going to do well against the Ultralisk, so keep that in mind. Look for things that do high damage in a shot to deal with Ultralisks. To the Protoss. Now, the Protoss are pretty cool themselves. They've got the Adept, which I may or may not say Adept while doing this, because I'm sure that Adept is something that I read one time in Pokemon or Final Fantasy before, voiceovers were a thing. And I was just like, A-D-E-P-T, Adept. Perfect. So, please excuse me if I make a fool of myself in mispronouncing it, but it's the Adept. Adept, everyone. Adept. You may have played Pokemon too. It's the Adept. Now you know. It says slow-moving harass unit from the gateway, but I don't really think it's all that slow. The speed is faster than standard speed. Standard speed in the olden days used to be 2.25. Heart of the Swarm days, 2.25. That's the speed of an unupgraded Hydralisk. That's the speed of a non-stemmed Marine, Marauder, Raven. Let's see. That's the speed of a Zealot without upgrades as well. So, now that you know, I think it's actually a little bit quick. And the Psionic Transfer is very quick. So, it pushes out this shade of itself, right? And that shade moves very fast. It just moving around, and it's, again, invulnerable. We have a lot of this invulnerable stuff going on. And it can do all kinds of crazy things, all of which I haven't tested again. I'm sure that you've all seen the Reddit thread about, oh yeah, what about if I put this Adept in a building, for a cannon rush? I think that's a bug, but I haven't tested it just yet. I'm sure someone's already tested it. I'm going to be testing it all. It'll be all in the mega spreadsheet. And so you can check out the mega spreadsheet. It'll be in the description. Everything that I'm working on in Legacy of the Void, you can check it out in the mega spreadsheet. And it's just a lot of statistics and numbers and data and unit interactions that maybe you're interested in. Maybe you just can't get enough of Legacy of the Void content and you want to know everything about it. Just check out the spreadsheet. Is it free? Yes, it is. It's just a spreadsheet, but it's pretty cool. Back to the Adept. The Adept pushes that shade out and moves very quickly. And in 7 seconds, it goes, transports over there. So a couple of cool early things that I found out about this. You can use it to rally adepts across the map faster by just keep pushing the shade, and then it pops, and you push the shade, and it pops, and you basically shorten the rush distance of maps, which is pretty cool, before you get Warp Gate, of course. So you can do this really cool timing with 3-gate, 1-gas adept, and it's quite nice. You should definitely mess about with that. Once I get the build order perfectly set up, it'll be in the spreadsheet as well. The Disruptor is so freaking cool. Okay, so the Disruptor I was really hesitant about in the beginning. I was like, Disruptor, it doesn't really seem all that interesting, but it's got a really unique situation. We kind of talked about with the invulnerability before, but it's kind of got a really unique situation in that the Disruptor will break things. So if you fungal a Disruptor and it turns Purification Nova on, it'll basically shake off the fungal and be free. If it's in Purification Nova, it doesn't get affected by anything. Like if you even lock on, which is hard to break, you can't blink out of lock on, you can't BC teleport out of lock on, but you can Purification Nova out of lock on. So if you get locked on by a Cyclone, you can shut that down by going to Purification Nova, chasing it, hitting in the face. It does take 2 Purification Novas to kill a Cyclone, so you'll have to have 2 around. So it's not that clean of an exchange. It's not just oh yeah, hard counter. But if you have 2 of them, they only have 1, you're set. The Mothership Core has changed. It's pretty cool. It's just a time warp change, but it is one of the coolest changes ever. So a lot of people from the camp of Protoss are like, oh man, now it's not as strong. I'm upset about it. from the Protoss perspective. But if you take a step back and you're looking at it from a gameplay perspective, it's pretty cool. This is what it is. It's huge. It used to be 3.5 radius spell, and now it is an 8 radius spell, so it's huge. But what happens is there's this little animation on the ground, and it opens up over time, and there's no effect while it's opening up. And you can see it. Everyone can see it. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, and then poof, pops up. And then it slows down and has its normal effect and lasts for 10 seconds like it used to before. All of that is exactly the same, but it's bigger, and you get a certain time to deal with it. So that is the sort of basic idea of counterplay, in that I do something, and you have an opportunity to react to it in order to mitigate the effects, right? It's still going to control space, because if I throw it down and it covers a big ramp, then you're not going to be able to go down there without getting slowed down. But you can mitigate the effects of it as the opponent. So it's kind of fun, I think, in that both players get to have that back and forth play. It's kind of like Marine splits versus Banelings. The Marines are splitting back against the Banelings are reacting by splitting into the Marines, and it's all this fun back and forth kind of a thing. And the Mothership Core is very similar to that, in that both players have an opportunity to interact with that spell in a way that's fun and interesting. Warp Prism pickup is now increased to 7, so I'm sure Puck is going to be dropping lots and lots of Colossus? No, probably not Colossus, probably other things. We'll get to the Colossus in a second. The Immortal has no more Hardened Shield. Hooray for the removal of passives and the activation of actives. Hardened Shield has been replaced by Barrier. What Barrier does is adds 100 hit points to your Immortal for 3 seconds. That's a very short time. But if you are really, really good at timing nuclear launches, you can have Immortals survive nuclear launches. Pretty cool, right? Totally not useful at all, but still pretty cool, right? And although it is a nerf, this next one gets my award for favorite change thus far. The Colossus base damage has been reduced by 20%. That's right. And you might think to yourself, oh, it's a nerf. That's bad. But it's not. It's not bad. Because there must be balance, as you all know. And if the Colossus is taking a step backward in its power, other things will be pushed to the foreground. Playing Protoss, I always felt forced to build Colossus. For a while, there was a nice period where Immortal Charge Lot Archon was kind of a thing, but eventually it kind of went back into, Colossus for the most part. And I played mostly non-Colossus styles as much as possible because I just hate the Colossus. It's big and clunky. It can get hit by every spell and everything in the game. It's just very uninteresting and unfun to me. I never really liked the Colossus. And the idea of it taking a step back and potentially having more diversity in unit compositions for Protoss is really exciting and fun for me, and I hope that's the effect that it has. The Oracle has the Envision removed, and it just sort of gets pushed into the Revelation. So Revelation is tag, you're it, and Envision is I can see you. Now they're tag, I can see you. Enough said. In addition, the cost has been changed from 75 energy to 50 energy. So as soon as you have an Oracle pop out, there are DTs in your base, bam! They are now detected DTs. This is really interesting sort of dynamic, though, because it's not like you can chase around the DTs forever. And if you're the DT player in this situation, you actually don't need to split off your DTs once the Revelation has been cast. The Oracle comes out, Revelation is cast. From that point, you have freedom to do whatever you want. You can have all of your DTs in a clump, and it will not matter because you have to wait 100 or so seconds for that Oracle to rebuild the energy. And I think it actually takes less time to build a new Oracle than it does to get 50 energy. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So in any case, once that first Revelation goes down and you have X number of DTs revealed, first of all, suicide those DTs. They're going to be revealed forever. There's nothing you can do about it. And second of all, you don't have to worry about splitting up the DTs for another minute or so. So you're totally fine to go ahead and do whatever you want. Target things down or split them up and kill probes, whatever it is you want to do. It's a really different way to do detection. And it's I like it a lot. It's fun. I think it adds a new sort of dynamic into the things. Now, we're on to the real Oracle spell, the Stasis Ward. The stasis ward is so cool. Oh man, it's so much fun. First of all, you can throw it into a mineral line, and the queen and surrounding of workers will not be able to kill it in time. Or no queen, there's no chance they'll be able to stop you. They pretty much have to run away and then move one drone back into the space and then have it set off the ward and then come back in. It's basically a trap. Ward is kind of weird. I think stasis trap is more... whatever, it doesn't really matter. But in any case, you can set it off with a various number of things that I've put in my spreadsheet, one of which is the infested Terran egg. A lot of this stuff could be bugs, but check it out. It might work for a little while. Again, I'll be testing all of this stuff today, but I wanted to give you guys an update on what I've been up to and what I've been doing, and all these patch notes, which we're almost done with. My God. The Tempest does not have that crazy speed that it had for a while in Legacy of the Void. It is slow again. It is normal again. The only thing is different is that it doesn't have that massive bonus against air units. And Colossus count as air and ground units. So they don't have the superpower against Colossus like they used to, but the Colossus range is down. The Colossus damage is down. So PvP still could have this, interesting dynamic without needing the Tempest to be a hard counter to the Colossus, which is, I think, really cool. It also has Disintegration, which I'm not 100% sure what to do with. It does a lot of damage over a long time, a long time. And you have to get pretty close. It's 6 or 7 range. You have to get pretty close to be able to cast it. You kind of make your Tempest pretty vulnerable. And they're slow again, so it is pretty dangerous to do. But, we'll see what ends up happening. It's still cool. And keep in mind that they do still attack air and ground. It's not that they don't attack air anymore. It's just they don't get the massive bonus against air anymore. So, and finally, a great place to end the patch notes is the carrier. It now only takes 90 seconds to build instead of 120, and it has the new ability to release interceptors. Believe it or not, the release interceptors is like, oh, that's exciting, that's cool, that's a feature. To me, the 90-second build time is so much more exciting than anything else, because that was always this big deal, in my opinion, with the carrier. It was really hard to get out enough in time for them to be effective, because you have to reach a certain critical mass, generally 4 or 5 carriers, before they start to really become effective. And all the builds in professional games that carriers tried to get built, I think there were like 4 in the entirety of StarCraft 2 where players actually made it to carriers. Correct me if I'm wrong. At least in the modern area, maybe the old ones. Maybe like when people were experimenting in Wings of Liberty in the very beginning, there were more carriers. But once things got settled out, carriers pretty much didn't exist. And I think a big part of that was this vulnerability time, this time of vulnerability that you had when you were building the carriers, because they were very expensive in every possible way, and bringing back this time expense is huge. It's actually something I've been wanting to happen for a very long time. And when I was at BlizzCon and they announced this, or rather, when I was in BlizzCon testing this and I found out that, oh my God, I flipped out. I did flip out a bit, and there were people on the side of me, and they, kind of getting those weird looks. But when you get excited about a 30-second decrease in build time, you know that you're really into StarCraft. Back to the release interceptors, though, it's kind of, I don't really know how I feel about it, because they're not free, right? Interceptors still cost minerals, so when you throw them out there, that's 8 interceptors, 25 each, that's 200 minerals that you're saying, okay, goodbye 200 minerals, hang out there and deal some damage. And they become suicidal units because they have a timed life. A cool little trick, though, Neuroparasite is back. They didn't really mention it, but Neuroparasite is back for the time being, and it has been buffed to 9 range. You can Neuroparasite a carrier, release their interceptors. Those interceptors are yours for the rest of the game, for the rest of their timed life, and the carrier is now useless. It's really cool. Will it ever see play in an actual game? I don't know, but that little interaction to me was kind of a neat thing that I found that I was while I was testing. The subject of tea time is over, and now it is time for announcements. Normally, I talk about basic, normal announcements like, hey, I'm making this video next, or I'm doing this next thing next. But today is a special day. You may have been saying, Jack, you've been streaming, and it's been from a different place. You may have been saying, Jack, your eyes look incredibly blue today. Why is that? You may say, why is the wall behind you? It is so plain and dull. But why? And I will tell you why. The reason why all of this is happening is because I am living in Atlanta, Georgia, with Pult and Violet and Andrew from CSN. This is a job in esports that I have had the opportunity to have. So now I do it. I work for CSN now. I can't give you details on the different projects we're working on, but we're working on them. And now that I'm here, I'm throwing a lot of my weight into it. So things that have been maybe not out for a long time, like maybe training camp, is getting pushed a little bit harder into getting completed, and some other things as well. It's incredibly exciting. This is a studio. I am in a studio right now. That's why the sound sounds so good. That's why the lighting is so good, and like you can see everything so well and clearly. Is because I'm in a fucking studio. Like what? There's like a really expensive camera thing over there. Like this is awesome. So I have all these new toys to play with. And I also have this really amazing security in that the next year I'm set. I don't need to worry about, oh man, if I don't get enough views, I'm going to lose my job, which was the whole Tutorial Central thing. It was always like, okay, you have to get a certain number of views, you have to do this and this, or you don't have a job anymore, or you're done. You're done with StarCraft 2 full time. And that was always this huge pressure on me. And now I have this really comfortable security. I'm locked in for a year. I'm here for a year at least. And I'm getting paid enough so that I can pay my student loans and my phone bill, and and eat and sleep and be merry and all of that. It's great. So I imagine maybe there are some questions that might happen. Just go ahead and leave them in the comment section as usual. And I'll be very active in the comment section, answering your questions, talking about what me being at CSN or being a part of CSN means, and what I'm going to be up to and the different things. Holt is not here right now. I haven't met him yet. I haven't been hanging out with him, but Violet's been here the whole time, and he is so nice. Oh my god. Violet is one of the nicest humans I've ever met. He's incredibly, incredibly nice. And he's also really fun, and like his English is amazing. And I'm working on my Korean, and he's helping me out. I'm just like, hey, 안녕하세요. And Juani says, no, not quite. Say it a little bit like this. And I'm like, all right, cool. It's really cool. It's a really cool opportunity for me. I'm really happy about it. I could probably just talk about how I'm really excited about this for a long time, but then I would have to, then I would not get any work done, and I'm going to get things done. That is my job. I'm going to get things done. Working on a lot of cool things I'm really excited about. I haven't been given permission to tell you yet, but they're coming. They're coming soon to a theater near you. In the meantime, regular updates. I will be coming out with a lot of Legacy of the Void content that may push back Challenge Accepted. If you hate this, tell me. If you really want to see Challenge Accepted, because I have all the footage, I just need to write the script and record and make the video. I have all the necessary replays gathered in. If you really, really, really want to see that, and you want to see that more than you want to see me doing Legacy of the Void content, say so below. I think I'll put even a poll. What's more important to you? Challenge Accepted and the other projects I've been working on, or for the time being, do a lot of Legacy of the Void content while strike while the iron is hot, and then blend back into the regular, okay, I'm doing all this normal stuff, and I'm also doing like half Legacy of the Void or something like that. And I'm also working on a new project with Cats about statistics and numbers and data, which is really cool, which is really exciting. Cats just sort of hit me up, and he was like, hey, I want to do this thing. And I was like, that's a great thing. Let's do it. And he said, all right, let's find some other people that will help us do the thing. And we found said people, and it's great. So it's been an exciting, fantastic day. The audio recording before editing is at 50 minutes. Those are real minutes, not Blizzard minutes. And I'm going to edit the crap out of this and try to get it down to a manageable size so that you can all hang out at a manageable rate and with me. And yeah, Thanks for tuning in, Hangout, etc. This has been JaKaTaK, and as always, thanks for watching. If you have an idea for a video you would like me to do, or if you have any questions, comments, criticisms, concerns, anything beginning with the letter C, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll see you again soon.